All right, gentlemen, welcome to BeanSmash Recap for October 28th, 2024. This is a recap of a bi-weekly Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament that happened on the aforementioned date. It will take the form of a PowerPoint presentation with video voiceover from yours truly. You may notice there isn't really a theme this week, and that's because we're getting back to basics here at BeanSmash Studios. I would normally jape and jest for a few more minutes, but instead we're going to get right down to brass tacks. Let's go see some data. These are the results of our tournament. You can see Aaron was the overall victor with 7 wins, narrow margin of victory, though Lucas was close behind. More on that later. Looking at our overall tournament history, you can see Aaron and Lucas are still sitting at right around 10 wins apart all time. And meanwhile, down in the valley, I have reduced the disparity between my and Ben's lifetime stats to a mere 6 wins. I am going to catch you, Ben. It's going to be glorious. Now what we're seeing is a round-by-round overview of the tournament. You can see it was kind of a streaky first half with Aaron and then Ben and then Lucas notching a few consecutive wins in turn right out of the gate before I finally woke up sometime around the midpoint of the tournament. I will draw special attention here to rounds 3 and 4. This is where Ben's lane starts appearing. Ben won back-to-back there via a couple of brutal betrayals, the first of which was the funniest freaking thing to ever happen when he shot me off of Big Battlefield right at the end with Byleth, and I would not have had it any other way. Well done there, Ben. And the other thing I'll note is right here at the end, where it came down to, in the final round, round 20, came down to me versus Lucas, and I was able to snag that win, which gave Aaron the outright victory for the night, avoiding a 7-7 draw between him and Lucas, which is what would have happened had I lost. So it may have felt meaningless for me to notch a win there right at the end, but it wasn't. Had a big impact on the outcome, and I think that is really the thing that everyone should remember, is that everything I do is the most important thing that happens. Now we're going to zoom out and just look at trend lines for each person's wins week to week across all of recorded BeanSmash history. At this point, really since I guess kind of the end of September, beginning of October, we've been back in our normal pattern here of Aaron and Lucas sort of trading back and forth on alternating weeks, and myself and Ben sort of doing the same thing, albeit at a lower zone on the old y-axis. This comes on the heels of just some wild times we had over the late summer here, and then of course a long stint of Lucas dominance in what we've been calling the Age of Darkness. Now you're probably expecting me to launch into some sort of soliloquy about the Age of Darkness or the Halcyon Age of Luminous whatever that I've been romanticizing for these last few weeks, and I'm not going to do that because we're back to basics here. What we need is cold hard data, or cold hard beverages, because now it's time for our BeanSmash recap. It's a recap within a recap wherein we recollect and offer gratitude for the grain-based alcoholic beverages provided each week by members of our generous community. We are sponsored in part, as always, by the PC for Aaron Foundation. Remember, kids, the only thing we have to drink is drink itself. Last week, Lucas provided us with a homestyle IPA by Bearded Iris, one of my favorite Nashville breweries, and a dab hand with an India Pale Ale, always and forever. I tend to like the double homestyle, but these days it's kind of sketchy for me to be drinking a double dry hopped tall boy on my medication for my brain, so the normal homestyle suited me just fine, as I think it suited everyone else. Thank you, Lucas, for providing that. And this coming Monday, I intend to procure the drinks for us. So look forward to that. And now let's get into some more stuff. We'll look at some facts that are based on data, which is information that I've captured via data entry. There's nothing fancy here, folks. It's just a few little details to keep you posted on the lay of the BeanSmash land. We've got each of us listed here alongside our best character, best level, and unique characters drafted. Nothing surprising in the best character column. Aaron has, I think, 5 or 6 wins with Falco. Ben has 5 with Wii Fit Trainer. Lucas has 7 wins with Lucas. I've only got 3 with Samus. I've actually got 3 characters tied at 3 wins. Samus, Ness, and I believe Ganondorf. But I also have a couple wins with Dark Samus, and so I figured that pretty much gave Samus the outright win for my best character, if you count that as an Echo character. Then I've got 5 wins with a Samus. So that's where we are at on best characters, best levels. Not sure there's anything surprising here either, although I don't really clock Dojo as like the home of Aaron victories, but he is the outright, like, nobody wins more on Dojo than him, and it's the level that he wins the most on, which is the case for all of these, by the way. Ben's best level is Flat Zone X, and no one has won more times than him on Flat Zone X up to now. Even with kind of a drought, I feel like, in the last couple months. Maybe not exclusively a drought. I think he's won Wii Fit there fairly recently, but not as consistently as he was in the beginning of recorded history. And then Temple, I've got the most wins on Temple. And Lucas, Super Happy Tree. With Piranha Plant, without Piranha Plant, just his level. We should not play there. I don't like it because I never win there, pretty much, ever. Last, I have our unique characters drafted. Now, just for context, there's 83 characters available in Smash Bros. Ultimate is the actual name of the game. That's 83 minus the 3 me characters that we never use or can't use. And in the draft era, no one has picked more different ones. It's drafted, not played. That number for played is actually just a little bit smaller, but I looked at drafted. Nobody's drafted more different characters than me. That's how eager I am to change things up and try to turn my fortunes. Although it's, and Ben's drafted the fewest, but it's not by a lot. I thought it was interesting that we're all pretty close together in what percentage of the overall player list we have dipped into. It's like 50-ish, 50 to 60 out of the 83 characters. Yeah, that's I can show you a little bit more on that another time. I've got some other ideas for how to display that to you, but just thought that was a nice little tidbit for now. Instead, let's look and see who is any good at picking the level that we play on. This is something we've been tracking for, I think, 5 tournaments now, so the data is getting pretty rich. And what you see here, the different bars are representative of the games played on levels each player has picked. So we've got all the games played on levels that Aaron picked, all the ones that Ben picked, I've picked, Lucas has picked, and then at the bottom, all the games played on a random level, which is just 5 games, obviously. So, and then the colored percentages show who is actually winning those games. Ideally, you want your own percentage to be the highest on the levels that you yourself pick. Theoretically, you give yourself a little bit of an advantage there. I mean, in fact, ideally, you want yours to be the highest percentage on all of them, because that means you're winning the most. So let you soak that up for a second, and then there's a few little key insights I want to draw out. First, I have not won on the random level since we started tracking who picks the levels. Everybody has but me. And that's okay. I save my good stuff for later on when it well, when it matters, not at all usually. Next thing I wanted to note that Aaron and Luke's profiles are actually very similar on this list. So for both Aaron and Lucas, they win close to half of the games that are played on the level that they themselves pick. And then the other one of them wins about a third of the time. Like Lucas wins 33% of the matches that take place on levels Aaron picked, and vice versa for Lucas. And then myself and Ben kind of pick up the dregs on the levels that they choose. So thought it was interesting there. Last thing is Ben is the worst at picking levels that he can win on. He seems to favor the rest of us more or less equally, with a little bit of I guess a little bit slanted against Lucas there, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then I'm kind of an equal opportunity guy as far as letting people win fairly evenly on the levels that I picked, probably because I picked the most off the wall random levels, because I think that's fun, and this is about fun, or it should be more about fun for you guys who win all the time, so that it can be more about winning for the guys who have all the fun. Yeah, that'll do it. I think that's good, right? We're trying to, you know what, we're still at 11.5 minutes. My goal with going back to basics was to kind of trim the fat a little bit and make this a shorter video, but here we sit at 11 minutes. I just can't shut up. I would normally insert like one more little joke here, but instead I'll just say, see you on Monday, and hope you enjoyed this. Deuces.